Guys, we came into these games anticipating maybe we wouldn't see the greatest defense, at least from one of the games. That did not happen. And also, we didn't really get any clarity on in one of the games. I mean, the NFC South's just an absolute mess.
Made 11 straight 50-plus yard field goals until it was a 55-yarder blocked to Miami. Did not get a hold of it. Move here, stepping up, trying to create. Still scanning the field. So he got the ball. And now finally throws it down to Otten.
I got this. I got this.
The upright, and it stays a 10-point game. Second and goal. Down by 10. That ball was tipped, I think, and picked off.
Mayfield from the pocket, swings it across the middle, touchdown, Cade Otten. Chase McLaughlin for a 29-yard attempt. And 2 possessions, 7 and 3rd. Mayfield has time, down the middle, throws an interception. Picked off by Christian Rose. Touchdowns on these red zone trips for the Panthers. Young flips it short, caught. Tremble, touchdown as the tight end at Notre Dame. Mayfield just loses the handle, picks it up, still tries to make something happen. The clock at 1 when Young snaps it, looks to the right side, long throw, and he threw a pick. They'll snap it to him. No drama. Snap down, kick. It's a 2-possession game. Operation handled beautifully. And ball's loose. Leggett for Dowdle. More importantly, they took off almost 6 minutes of clock time on the drive and the block. So pressure does come. Young backpedals, heaves downfield. It's McMillan wide open behind the defense. First-round pick from the pocket. Young looks end zone, jump ball, caught, touchdown. Now they pitch it short, and the catch is made by Coker. Looking to pitch around. McMillan's got it. He goes back to alignment, and that's it.
And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Photo Develop. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys had some fun with those 2 defensive games yesterday. As you guys saw, the Bucs keep their playoff hopes alive. And then again, we'll get to the Seattle clinching again their the NFC West and the 1 seed a little bit. But as you guys, again, from those highlights, it really wasn't the greatest game. But again, the Bucs figured it out. Again, before we get deeper into this, I just wanted to let you guys know, maybe we won't have, again, the hype video this year for the playoffs coming out. Again, it's just really busy week coming up, so just don't expect it. If it comes out, it would be great, but I just don't want to, like, again, try to rush something that, again, is usually, again, it takes a lot longer than I really ever anticipate. So again, that's definitely a video that I'm gonna try to get like a Super Bowl one, or maybe an AFC and NFC Championship one. I don't know about this year, but I'll be surprised if I can get the playoffs one out, because again, we have again, probably the Sunday recap. Again, it goes through breaks on the playoff picture and everything that happened again here on Sunday. I'm again try to get that out on Monday night, probably Tuesday night though. And again, with everything else that's going on, I just don't think, again, a playoff hype video fits in there, especially with the predictions, or 2 predictions we're doing, though, again, the overall playoff one and then again the wild card one as well. So just keep that in mind. So I don't want to, like, again, disappoint anyone, or again, it'll be a surprise if I'm able to get it out. I just don't want anyone to expect that. Anyway, though, again, back into this game, the Bucs were able to keep their playoff hopes alive, as I repeated earlier. As again, they moved to 8-9, 16-14 win over the Panthers, a game that I did anticipate them to figure out how to win. As again, it's the 5th time in NFL history that a team will again have a division will be sending a team to the playoffs with a losing record. Again, absolutely insane. The Bucs did it a couple years ago. Really, actually, the first year Todd Bowles was the head coach. They will be them or the Panthers, again, losing record, will be hosting the Monday Night Wild Card. Again, because the 4 seed versus the 5 seed in the NFC is the Monday Night Wild Card. One of these teams will be representing it. You might ask, how is that going to happen? Well, again, this is the pressing thing here. You guys know that the Saints and Falcons are playing in the early window here on Sunday. That game will decide who goes to the playoffs out of the NFC South. If the Saints beat the Falcons, the Bucs are going in. If the Falcons beat the Saints, the Panthers are going in. If you might ask, how is that possible? If at the moment the Bucs are actually ahead of the Panthers, because they do in fact have the tiebreaker. Just again, that's the tiebreaker they have. But if the Falcons were to win, it would be a 3-way tie in the division, because the Falcons now have a better record, and then the common opponents that tiebreaker would actually switch back to the Panthers. That's how the Panthers would get in the playoffs. But again, if the Saints are able to win, the Falcons again have a worse record than these two teams. There's no three-way tie. The Bucs would actually get it. And again, very bizarre scenario. We've talked about it really for 2 weeks now. Again, really didn't know that was going to actually happen. But the fact that again it's so relevant now is just again something to note there. But again, just keep in mind again if you're a Panthers or Bucs fan or just someone watching the league, know that Saints and Falcons game is what's going to decide the division at the end of the day. Absolutely ridiculous. But other than that, for the Panthers in this game, Bryce Young didn't really play that bad. The statistics I don't really think tell you a lot. He was really bad on third down in this game. He could not complete a pass over the middle to save his life. Also, really only completed one big pass downfield in that last drive to Ted McMillan, who had a 40-yard catch. But other than that, Jalen Colbert didn't create any separation in this game. Tommy Tremble was extremely disappointing. Again, vertical routes he was really winning on a lot, so it really wasn't his fault. But Bryce Young just didn't pull the trigger on those. Also, they couldn't run the ball to save their life. It's really been a trend for them, honestly, since that game against the Rams. They've had some success, but when you look at how they started the season, really, again when they got on that 3-game winning streak to get out of that, again, three-game losing streak, out of that 1-3 hole, that has just not been relevant for this team really for over a month now. That's part of the reason this team went from, again, playoff hopefuls to now maybe not even being in, despite them, I think, overall being a team that can't upset a team in the playoffs, despite their just flounders on offense the past 2 weeks. And again, you come down to it, again, Bryce Young, you can't really rely on this guy right now to completely be consistent, and that's a big issue with this team. You definitely saw in this one against a very, again, incompetent Bucs defense. But at the end of the day, again, when you can't run the ball and the offensive line isn't protecting consistently, it's really hard to sustain offense. But again, Bryce Young, I just don't think did enough in this game for them. The statistics will tell you otherwise. But again, I just think, again, that there was definitely something left from him in this one. But anyways, other than that, guys, Xavier Legette, again, he's had another really tough year. I mean, he wasn't as bad as he was as a rookie, but like, you're going to need something more than this for a guy who's a first-round pick. And they don't, literally, Ted McMillan's the only guy in this offense that's really worth a damn right now. Again, I understand the offensive line is, again, regressed a lot in terms of their run blocking. But again, that was the biggest thing I saw in this game. And also, Dave Canales has to look at himself in the mirror to try to get this offense in a better spot. But still, the fact that he still make the playoffs is really there. But again, this is a game where you look at it, again, even last week where they could have clinched a playoff spot. And again, they just haven't been, they weren't able to finish it off. And again, you think about it, do they really deserve a playoff spot? Again, the Bucs really don't either. But you get the, again, they've won it 4 years in a row. So again, there's something to that. Trying to make it fit 5 straight years. Defensively, though, you look at the linebackers. I really like how they play. Christian Roseman had his best game of the season in coverage. Nick Scott, I think, did do a decent job in the slot and outside on the boundary when, again, he did get those opportunities, again, as a safety there. Derek Brown, really good against the run, but I didn't really see much outside of that. I think he might have only had 2 pressures. I didn't get to watch a ton of film on this game, but again, that's what I saw. Trayvon Moehrig was pretty decent, but other than that, guys, the pass rush, again, in terms of the consistency, really wasn't there. Again, it wasn't really timely either. It was a lot of, like, yeah, they got some fast pressure, but usually it wasn't that. Princely on non-Emilian, the rookie, as well as Nick Scorton, both those guys definitely left a lot to be desired. Again, but other than that, I think the secondary overall did do a decent job, but you can look at this team and how they weren't able to generate pass rusher times. That was really the reason they kind of gave up some of those longer drives, and again, that's kind of how the Bucs extended drives, despite overall this defense not really playing that bad of a game. Ryan Fitzgerald's missed field goal was hilarious. And then you go over to the Bucs side and see what happened with them. Baker overall just didn't lose his team the game, kind of finished it up. You guys knew, again, Baker wasn't going to have this team lose this game just coming into it. Again, he's a veteran quarterback. Again, it's just not going to happen again. Obviously, statistics this season have not really been where they wanted to. Again, still not really bad numbers at all. Again, just not where they were last year. And again, the fact that, again, he was able to still put up, again, a decent enough game out of himself here, and it's despite, again, also the really bad inclement weather in this one, I think was really good there. He just didn't turn over the ball. Again, the sacks he took definitely weren't the greatest, but at the same time, he just wasn't trying to put this team in a bad spot. Running game, it's been an issue really all season, to be honest with you guys. Again, Bucky Irving being injured is a major part of it, but I did like the fact they gave him the ball. He definitely could have done a lot more than this in this game on his 26 carries. At the same time, a couple of them were just kind of eating up clock, but again, at the same time, again, he just didn't perform the way he should. I'm definitely expecting a lot more from Bucky if they end up getting in the playoffs. But anyway, Rachaad White, again, he also didn't, again, they've struggled to run the ball this year. This was, again, a big team back in 2022 when they got blown out by the Cowboys in the wild card that year. Again, 2023, they really weren't efficient either, but at least Rachaad White was providing something in terms of, again, a running game out of the, again, kind of like screen game of sorts. Last year, though, they obviously ran the ball well. Was one of the reasons their offense is a lot more successful and probably the best team they've had under Todd Bowles. But the running game they have right now is just not cutting it. Also, no explosives out of the running game is also a bigger issue in this one. But other than that, guys, for the receiving, Cade Otton was the only one doing much out of anything. Again, you probably saw the, again, statistic there. He had more receiving yards than the entire team or something like that. But his performance definitely was, again, the bigger reason they even won this game. Again, he had a touchdown on 7 catches for 94 yards. This guy just, again, when they need him, is the guy to go to. Obviously, Mike Evans is usually that guy, but he just really hasn't been the same this year, especially off the collarbone injury. Emeka Egbuka, again, he's just really had a tough, again, really past, like, 3 months, honestly, guys. After that week, really, what we're going to say, week 6 game, he kind of hasn't really done a ton. Chris Godwin, I think, had a decent game, though. He only had 1 catch for 8 yards. He was running a lot of good routes and really, again, spacing out the field, which is something you're not really used to seeing out of him, but I did like that, again, kind of, like, variation in this offense. But on that, guys, for this offense, they really just controlled the ball and didn't make as many mistakes as the Panthers. That's the reason they won this. Defensively, I was pleasantly surprised by their ability to take the ball away. I don't think they did a great job in terms of their overall, again, coverage disciplines. There were definitely some plays where I think, especially Antoine Winfield, just got straight up out of position, but again, you can kind of sacrifice that with some of the aggressive plays he's able to make that just wouldn't happen otherwise. I will say, Lavonte David, Savosia, Dennis had, again, overall, again, collectively, their best performances of the year. Again, Lavonte David definitely had more, like, individual performances that are better, but again, they were really in sync this game. Pass rush wasn't exactly always getting the most. It was really just soft pressure, but honestly, in a game like this, it's not the worst thing, and it was definitely not easy for these guys to get to the quarterback, especially for a guy like Calais can't see, if I'm not mistaken, only got like 40% of the snaps. Am I right on that? I think he wasn't out there a ton. Let's go to the snap counts. No, I need he wasn't out there a ton in this game because, again, he was returning from injury. But, again, him not being out there and just the weather and him returning from injury, it just really wasn't a good combination for this defense. So the fact they still were able to get, a decent amount of pressure there was definitely something, again, to think about there. But, again, still, Bucs outgained them with 340 yards. Again, at the end of the day, guys, you look at both these teams, their playoff fates lie in the hands of their other Tier 2 division rivals. Wait, oh my god, jeez, I just realized this. The Falcons freaking tie the Saints, the Bucs are in the playoffs. That's the last thing I probably should have remembered, because no one is going to know what happens. Again, that's not going to happen, but if it somehow does, just know that the Bucs are in the playoffs for the Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they definitely are. Alright, anyways, that's all I have from you guys here. Let's get to NFC 1 seed battle.
The top. 4th down. End zone broken up, incomplete. 3rd down and 2, Charbonnet. He's got it, and plenty more. Touchdown, Seattle! All kickers and points this season. This one, Purdy stepped out. Play action from Purdy. Time running out. He's able to get rid of it. Incomplete. And Myers after the 47-yard miss. Good snap. Good hold, and on this windy night, the first points of the night. 3rd down and 17. Here's a toss. Kenneth Walker right side. Long way to go. And is able to get the first down. Jason Myers to try from 31. 4th down and 6. Purdy gets hit. The pass is incomplete. And the Seahawks are going to take over on down.
Alright, guys, in the second game of that doubleheader, we did see the Seattle Seahawks, again, flex their arms on defense, knocking off the Niners 13-3 in what really was a very ugly game to watch. At the same time, though, the Seahawks have been able to win games recently as they have gone on a 7-game winning streak, the longest streak they've had since they, again, I couldn't even tell you the last time they won 7 straight games. Let's see. Last time the Seahawks have won 7 straight games before this season. 2012. Alright. That's crazy. Makes sense, though, right? But anyway, they got a franchise record 14 wins with this. We'll get to Sam Darnold in a second when what he was able to accomplish with this. I mean, he didn't really do a lot, but you get the point. 14 wins is the franchise record. Again, this team, 7 straight wins. Their last loss was in LA back in week 12. This defense has really played well most of this season. Again, they've given up a second to the Texans in points allowed at 16 point, what was it, 2 points, something like that per game. But at the end of the day, you look at the Seahawks team and how they played in this game. Their defense just simply, not only schematically, but just physically dominated this Niners team. Did Trent Williams play? I didn't see him out there. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was about to go crazy because that makes more sense there. But a lot of their runs to the left side, which is where they set up a lot of their B gap sort of scheme, which is where again how they get the bigger runs. That just wasn't there in this game. They could not run the ball through the A-gap on the left side, which is, again, that's kind of like a foundational part of this offense. And again, credit to Leonard Williams. He just completely blew up that side of it. Also, the linebackers really picked that up well too. That's really the biggest thing I noticed here. But again, implications for this, Seattle Seahawks have now clinched the #1 seed. It's their first #1 seed since, I think, 2013 maybe. Again, that a while back there. But for Seattle, again, good for them to get that #1 seed. They will have, again, a home play. They'll have the, again, Saturday night divisional round game, if I had to guess, considering what we've seen from Fox and how the NFL scheduled the divisional round games. Again, for the 1 seed in the NFC. My guess is, again, 2 weeks from, again, basically, literally the exact same time slot, 2 weeks from, again, last night will be there again. So the Saturday night of the divisional round will be again, Seahawks will be hosting someone, whoever makes it to the wild card. There. Meanwhile, for the Niners, they now sit their fate. Again, who will they be playing? To the Rams, as they, again, now with a Rams loss, will be playing again on Monday night next Monday night against either the Panthers or Bucks. But again, if the Rams are able to beat the Cardinals here on Sunday, again in the late window, they will either be playing the Bears or Eagles, depending again what happens in the late window. My guess is they will be heading to Chicago, or not Chicago, to Philly for what should be a big time game. We'll get the takeaways from the Niners, but first for Seattle, Sam Darnold. Congrats to him. He becomes the first quarterback in NFL history, only the second quarterback ever, Tom Brady, to have back-to-back 14-win seasons. But again, the first quarterback ever to have 14-plus wins on, again, 2 different teams, which is just insane to think about. Again, that's a lot of freaking wins. But, again, you look at the Seattle team and how their season's gone. Again, they had a little bit of a rocky start, starting 3-2. Again, they lost to the Niners in Week 1, which is another thing you could talk about with this. Again, really hard to beat a team twice in the season, especially in the regular season. Or not in the regular season. Twice, again, especially when you play them in postseason. But, again, they also played, the freaking Eagles, I guess, did it. But, anyway, on top, again, that's probably why they won the Super Bowl last year. Again, back to this. You look at this, again, then they won 4 straight before they lost the Rams in a really tough one in Week 11. Then they've won 7 straight here. This team's just, they've been rattling off wins. They've won in a lot of different ways, which I think is, again, for any people that think of contenders, the best teams in NFL history, guys, they've been able to win a lot. Most of them haven't had to, but most of the teams in NFL history that have been challenged at points, and again, are looked at as the best teams in NFL history, they have been able to win in a lot of different ways. That's just simple truth. There's some teams like the Bears in '85 who really didn't have to deal with that because they had the best defense in the NFL history. Maybe not the best, but definitely one of the top 2 or 3. But then you look at a team like the Patriots, and they're a great example of a team that really didn't have to win in a lot of different ways. They just threw up 50 on you, and their defense just completely mauled you in 2007, and they just blew every team out. But you play in the NFC Champion or the Super Bowl. And obviously, that was a big difference there. They weren't able to win that game. But anyway, for Sam Darnold, he just didn't really lose them the game in this one. He was very conservative, really didn't make any sort of conservative effort to throw the ball downfield. I think he may have had 1 or 2. I think it was 3 attempts over 20-plus yards, or over 15 yards downfield. None of them really threatening the defense at all. But honestly, guys, he didn't have to do a lot in this game. And the fact, again, he was able to consistently move them up the field and convert some of those third downs. Also, by the way, guys, both these teams were abysmal on third down in the game. Again, I understand the Seahawks went 6 of 13. It was not 6 of 13. But yeah, he just didn't lose in the game, which was different from last year, because last year he just completely melted down. Again, I wouldn't say this is a new Sam Darnold, because again, the defense played so well. But again, I'd be shocked if it's not like in the playoffs, there's going to be a point where he's going to have to make a play, and we still don't know if that's the answer. Again, in this game, he didn't have to do that, which again is, preferably for the Seahawks, which again, was good. That's how this game played out. I'm just telling you guys, there's going to be a game in the playoffs where he's going to have to make a play, and either he's not going to make it, or he's going to lose it, again, definitely going to lose him the game. So, we'll see what happens there. Also, the Seattle team in the past, really, 3 weeks have really had this running game come on. Again, they've ran the ball more than almost every other team in the league this season. Again, we look at 2 weeks ago, Kenneth Walker finally broke out for a long run versus the Rams. Other than that, though, they didn't really run the ball great. Again, they were definitely good in short yardage situations. Then last week, that was really the main part of that offensive game plan, and a really sloppy game against the Panthers. And then this week, their running game, this was probably the best we've seen in the running game all season. Zach Charbonnet, yes, take away the 27-yard run, wasn't really that efficient, but again, look at the offensive line, how they played under Zach Charbonnet. Really wasn't great there. He didn't have many holes, but at the same time, still ran pretty well. Kenneth Walker, though, up and down the field, guys, he just completely dominated this Niners defense in the run game. Again, he was just doing his thing out there. Again, hats off to the Seattle offensive line there, but again, they weren't great. Sam Darnold, though, again, he kind of just, was out there running the ball or something like that. Again, this is a very bizarre stat line, but again, it's still pretty nice. JSN, if I'm not mistaken, is now over 1,800 yards received, very close to it. Finishes the season with 1,700 yards, nearly 1,800 yards. And again, if I'm not mistaken, it should be good enough to hopefully hold off Puka Nacua. We'll see again, at least for his sake. But yeah, Cooper Kupp, again, he, what was it, like a third down play, got like freaking tossed on. But yeah, he was out there. His season ends with, does he even get to 600 yards? Let's see if we can find it. How many yards did he finish with? 593, bro. Yeah, he's washed. That's all I can say. He's a washed receiver. There's no other way to put it. But other than that, guys, just hats off to the Seahawks offensive line for bringing a physical presence to this one. Again, they really weren't that challenge up front, but in this fact, again, they weren't awesome with Zach Charbonnet, but overall they were able to do their thing. And again, really, again, put it on the Niners defense there. Good for them there. But honestly, guys, again, the Seattle offense really didn't do jack in this game. Defensively, though, this is where this game was won. Again, a lot of people are acting like they're the best defense in the NFC. In a lot of ways, they are. But again, don't forget, the Rams went into Seattle on Thursday night. Again, I understand it was a short week, but they put up 581 yards on this team. That is not, again, no, I'm telling you, the best defense in the league, that just doesn't happen. So, again, understand that, again, the freaking Seattle defense has really dominated the past week. They gave them 13 points. They're second in the league in scoring, NFC's best scoring defense, but there's reasons for that. Anyway, though, a lot of their young guys are just playing out of their minds right now. Ernest Jones, I think, just locked himself up in all-pro spot. Again, he was locked down in this game overall. Boyo Mafe got some pressure. Really, guys, the way this team affected Brock Purdy, though, was just straight up penetration from the interior. Whether it was Byron Murphy, again, he had probably his best game of the season. Jaron Reed, who no one really expected him to do this, looked like 2018 Jaron Reed. And then you also had, where even was Leonard Williams? Was he even out there? I'm very confused. He was injured? I'm really bad with numbers, guys. But anyway, yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence, I didn't see much of him in this game. But again, it was really just the young guys. And again, they're kind of the rotational guys, just getting a lot. It was all penetration. I really didn't see much finesse pass rush from them. Obviously, outside Derek Hall, who was really their only true finesse rusher. So that was really fun to watch there. But again, Boyo Mafe, ton of pressure in this game, guys. Again, it was a lot of penetration, though, and bull rushes, and really speed to power that kind of won them this game up front. Secondary, though, really, again, the only issues I had was Drake Woolen not being a little bit too soft in zone. But other than that, really no complaints at all. They were really, again, disciplined in this game. Again, part of the reason they won this one. Brock Purdy, a lot of questions about his nail and his thumb. I think he'll be okay. But again, if they have to go into Philly next week, cold weather environment, that doesn't really bode well, or Chicago. So again, they're going to really be rooting for the Cardinals here on Sunday. But again, you look at Brock Purdy in this game, probably one of his worst games of the season. It was really the first game that this Niners offense got completely shut down with Brock Purdy at the helm. A lot of the issues stem from the fact that, again, they really weren't able to, again, consistently set up what they wanted to. A lot of their first down plays just really didn't work out. I think it was partly the execution. Also, I don't think Kyle Shanahan called his best game in this one, especially on those first down plays. But at the same time, Christian McCaffrey, guys, kind of proved his pants in this one. A lot of the routes he ran just really weren't that, again, timed out. So, again, the interception one, you can't really blame him for it. It was just, you kind of can. He dropped the pass. But, again, a lot of his routes really weren't going to spread open the offense, and I don't think Kyle Shanahan really designed the greatest plays for him to get open. Juwan Jennings, though, again, I guess he was out there, wasn't really kind of irrelevant in this game overall, instead of kind of clearing out some plays. Demarcus Robinson, I guess, was out there too. Again, a lot of their guys just really didn't look also 100%. Like George Kittle definitely didn't look like himself for most of this game. He did have one big play, though, which again was really what set this offense up to any sort of success in this one. I don't think Brock really scrambled great either. Again, CMC only 8 carries. Like, what are we doing? This offense just really, again, like I said, on first down, they aren't successful, and that's really just a complete killer for them. It also shows you the Niners offense isn't a complete wagon. There's teams that are going to freaking shut them down. And now they will be going on the road for probably the entire playoffs. That's what I'll say there. Very disappointing there. But honestly, guys, offensively, I wouldn't be as concerned as some people are with this performance. Again, if at some point you guys were going to throw up a complete stinker, every offense has, except I think the Rams this year. I mean, I guess the Texans game we had a stinker, but yeah. Brock Purdy, this offense, they could really struggled in this one. I will say, though, again, without Trent Williams, this offense, again, is just, they can't really move the ball consistently without him, because, again, a lot of their, again, kind of like free will comes from the fact that he's going to, again, really open things up there. So the fact he wasn't, again, out there was a huge issue. But again, if he's back next week, that'll be huge. But honestly, guys, again, as concerned I would be as a Niners fan with how this offense played in this game, it's not as big of a deal as you might be thinking. Defensively, though, first thing I'll say is Sam, whatever hell his name is pretty athletic, but he's just so, and I mean so raw as a pass rusher. Again, I'm not acting he's an elite talent or anything, but this is a guy that I think could be a solid rotational guy for them next year, just an overall takeaway there. Both corners were locked down on the edge, very good press coverage. Malik Mustafa, I think, was a little bit hesitant at times, which kind of hurt his play overall. Tanner Bethune continues to be, again, a solid guy. They do need Fred Warner back. Though, I'll tell you that, again, he's just not Fred Warner again, but what else are you going to expect out of him? But obviously, outside that, guys, again, same old issues with their pass rush. Again, they at least got some pressure in this game, though, which, again, is definitely a big difference. And, again, also, I think, again, like I said, with Malik Mustafa, though, but again, I don't think Jari Brown really gave him much help in this one. But defensively, I don't really have too many issues for them because, again, they did hold this game down. But again, the fact Seattle controlled possession for most of this game. Third down, again, they hit a couple of the big ones, but honestly, guys, neither of these teams were good on third down. Neither of these teams sustained drives. We got 180 rushing yards from the Seahawks. Really put this game ahead. 173 yards from the Niners. Also, Kyle Shanahan, again, first time since 2017, which is his rookie year, or the first year as the Niners head coach, that, again, He had under 180, only had 3 points. First time since then. Again, overall, guys, this game really accumulated to the fact that this Seattle team, again, who wanted it more in this one? Seattle did. You saw the running game there. But than that, that's all I have for you guys here. I hope you guys, again, had some joy with these games. I'll see y'all after, again, a Sunday Madness. Maybe on Monday, maybe on Tuesday. We'll see when I can get that out.
Arizona State getting it out quickly, though. McCabe down. Oh, my goodness. Defensive foul. 3-point chance on a Thunder.